Hey guys, welcome to Tales of Life. With any luck, the audio will be good the first go around. It's been just about a month since I made one of these, and it was the holiday month, so it kind of makes sense. I know it's not weekly. My goal is to actually get these out weekly in the new year, but that's not a New Year's resolution because I'll talk about that in a second. Um, but yeah, it's been a busy time. The big reason I kind of just stopped putting these out during December was because chapters ramped up to holiday hours, and with working in the city of Calgary, I was having days where I was waking up, going to work, going to my next job, getting home, and having to go to sleep if I wanted like an 8 hour sleep cycle. So everything kind of got put on the wayside. When Victor left a week before I did to go back to Seattle. Um, like the dishes had to pile up for that entire week until um, I, I quit with until I got sick and well, no, until I had just like one random day where I had a few extra hours and managed to do some stuff. I was getting shaggy and it was really bad. So all of that in mind, I quit with the bookstore. 2 days before Christmas, I was my last day, so the Monday before Christmas. And honestly, it was I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make up the money that I lost, the potential money that I lost. But it was also just a really good choice. It was a free, not freeing. It was just a nice. It felt good to do because one way or the other, the bookstore, the people were fantastic. I love the people, and I'm nervously and awkwardly, trying to get a hold of some of them. Which reminds me, I need to mute that. There we go. But so even though the people were good, the the work itself was really brutal. And what I've quickly learned is that was my first retail job, and yeah, I was working retail on holiday. Man, retail fucking sucks. And anybody who does it or the restaurant business and enjoys it are completely a different person from me. Just utterly. But that was nice because it gave me 2 days between where I wasn't working like 8 hours a day to pack and clean dishes and clean the house and vacuum and go through the fridge and this and this and this and this and this that needed to get done before I left for a week. And then I went home, uh, which was a lot of fun. No, it was a lot of fun. It was really good. Flying Christmas Day, really easy. The flight is really easy. It's an hour on a little smaller jet. Or it's an hour and a half, but it feels like an hour, and it was an hour going that way. But it was good to see the family and good to see my friends. We did a Christmas party on the 26th, and we had something like 40 or 50 people show up at various points in the evening, and about 14 of them were my friends. And I mean, these are people I've grown up with, and and a handful of the newer friends, and that was a lot of fun. Like that was good people to see, and it instantly made me decide I'm not leaving. I'm coming back to Seattle. But then the next day I went in and I hung out with my friends like I used to do. We went to see Big Hero 6 finally, which is such a good movie that if I could afford it, I would go see it again over here. But tickets up here are $14 rather than $9. And I thought 9 was expensive. I have no idea why tickets up here are so expensive, but they are. I still haven't seen The Hobbit, and I don't actually know if I care enough to go see it in theaters. It's a long movie. It's a lot of time committed. And I don't care about the other two, like, really at all. But that was fun. And so after seeing Big Hero 6 and hanging out with my friends all day, and I got to see one of my friends from Little Bit too. But it was definitely a realization sunk in that even if I wanted to move back to the area, I would have to move to Seattle, or Bothell, or some of the northern parts of Seattle, like the places where it's cheaper but not the slums. Because if I was to move back, because there's so much that I'm learning and I'm growing in the city right now that I know for a fact I wouldn't get in if I ended up back in Redmond, back in even Woodinville, or maybe not Bellevue, but it would be too comfortable, too familiar. I wouldn't be making as many friends, or not making friends, but I wouldn't be trying to meet new people as much as I am out here. Um, Not to say that I don't want to head home. Like if I had the option and like a good job back home, I would be back there in a heartbeat because I'm a little too far away from all my friends. I That's the other thing I realized is I'm definitely one of those people who needs the network that they've built, and because I don't have one out here, I it's really like just killing me inside not to have any friends up here. Nobody I know I can call on other than Victor, and even then, he's not somebody I would call in a favor for without like being like, well, okay, Victor, I need, and and he can't get me in a lot of situations. Like he doesn't have a car if I got stuck somewhere or something. On that note, though, that was a lot of fun. Big Hero 6 is a fantastic movie. It was really good to be back home. Got some fun stuff for Christmas. Got a new pocket knife. It's a lot bigger than my old one. Like, I didn't think it would be that big. I wasn't allowed to buy books for Christmas, which made my Christmas really awkward. I got underwear and I got socks, which was really good. Um, and I got some money and things like that, which is always nice. And I managed to sell my old graphics card to Logan and give him an upgrade, so my 560 isn't just lying around taking up space. And though my 560 scratched up the back of my e-reader pretty bad because I didn't think to wrap my 560 in any cloth because that would take up extra room, and I'm a dumbass. Um, Other tech thing. Oh yeah, my laptop. The plastic case is cracking. So it cracked in like the bottom left of the screen, and then on the top right of the keyboard, it just like chipped off. And I'm a little worried because it's starting to show years of abuse on its like body, but the computer itself is fine for now. That doesn't make me any less worried that the case is starting to break away. My e-reader was useful because I got to put a bunch of my favorite books off the shelf onto it, and that was a lot of fun. Or it was good to have books around. I ended up with the new Pokemon. Well, the new old Pokemon. So, Alpha Sapphire. Yes, Alpha Sapphire. I always get those names mixed up. I've got myself the Alpha Sapphire, the Alpha Sapphire. I'm gonna keep those in. Um, and that game is nostalgic. The music, everything about that game. That was the one I grew up on. That was the one I finished. So immediately, I recognize all the Pokemon. Like instinctively, I recognize everything in that game, and that's a lot of fun. And I feel like I was supposed to do the same thing with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but I didn't when I picked them up, and I kind of just cheated my way through that game. I do need to see if I can get Taylor to bring up my Sapphire team. That's my Sapphire team. That's floating around on one of my DS versions now. See if I can get her to like transfer it over to Pokebank or something. There's got to be a way to bring him through, and have characters from as far back as Sapphire on my in my new Sapphire. All right, so that's a quick update of what I've been doing this last month. There's a few other fun stories in there, I guess, that might be worth bringing up. I was telling the writer group the story of my kids from the summer camp. We did 2 weeks of LARP, which is live action role play. So they're playing out in the woods, pretending to be knights and trolls and all these things, and it is one of the ultimate nerdy pastimes, but it's really wonderful to watch a bunch of kids do it because they're not. I mean, a few of them are self-conscious about it, especially when the staff are getting a little silly and being like, "My lady," which was me. But they're also totally just they're not, even though they're self-conscious about having to act like, a knight. They're once they get into it, they're totally into it, which was really interesting to see. But I was telling them the story of just like how both those weeks went, and I won't do it here because this video is going to run long as it is. If I get people asking, like, Grandma, hi, Maru, I'll probably talk about it. But suffice to say, one of the writers there was like, "You have to write that down. You have to do that. That has to be a story. I'm gonna steal that if you don't take it." So obviously, I'm like, "Well, that's my story. I'm gonna do it." And he wasn't being like mean, or he was just like, "No, I want to do that now." That's a kind of an earworm for him. But and man, sat down trying to focus on it. That is such a different style of writing from what I do right now, that it's going to be one of the biggest challenges I have deliberately put myself in as a writer, which is fantastic, and I'm super excited for it because that'll always make me a better writer, having to do something new. But it's such a character-driven story, and I'm a world builder, not a character writer by nature. And it's kids, which means you have to capture the child's imagination, which is actually not as hard as it would sound because I'm basically a kid myself, but there's so many layers to it, and it's going to be so interesting. And that feeds really well into my New Year's goal. Not my resolution for the New Year's. My goal and my challenge to myself and my friend and a few of my friends, which is before or by the end of this year, I want to have self-published, a short of some kind, through using Amazon, using Amazon probably. I want to have something out there that is monetized and sitting out where I can be like, "Yo, buy my book, my thing that I made." Well, not my book, my short, which is actually hard for me because I don't do short form writing very easily. And one of the things I want to do is, if I can get it, if it's not going to beat me to the ground, is I want to get this kids one, this camp story, out there, or at least a chapter of it, like a point of view of the kid, something out there published for 60 cents, nothing big. I don't want to try to make money off of it because it's not going to be something done, but I'm going to I'm going to be forcing friends to edit it, doing the whole process. That's my goal for the new year, and my challenge is, Seneca, one of my good friends, wants to write a really interesting sounding, like, what would you call it? Not fiction, because no, I guess it's a fiction book, but it's a personal, like, sonnet based story telling a life. Sounds really interesting, and she's super crazy busy. So I want her to just get started on the book. I want to see like a chapter of it, one set of sonnets. Because if I know that that's going to be a goal for her, she's going to be trying to do that. If she makes measurable success, it's going to be me being, well, now I've got to do this. Like, I've got to work more on a short, got to get something polished, got to get something ready to go. Have to get something done. So I'm going to be doing that. And then with Newman, I want him to make something, but he's going to be so busy that we'll see what happens. He has to at least do a senior project. So I wanted him to make at least one app, and there was an app I wanted to make. But if he can't make that, I want him to work. He's going to have to do a senior project. But I want him to be making apps on his own and outside of class, because that's what he wants to do, and he needs to do that kind of work. Things like that. I've got a few other things. I'm dabbling with a project with Tasia, and my own work is my own work. And But that is my New Year's resolution. Before I get distracted, that is my New Year's resolution. Is I my goal for the year is to publish something on Amazon. Um, I think I can do it. I'm fairly confident I can get something done. It's going to be a matter of, but my babies, they're not ready, and having to finish one of them. It was really big deal when I finished and self-published uh, my own book, even though it was non-canon and it was bad. There was editing all over the place. It needed to get fixed, but I self-published a few copies because I wanted to see what the process was like, and that book was done. And it was a very, very much a sharp moment of, this is done. However, I can't use most of this, which sucks. And everything I could use ended up in my world notes anyway. Like, it all ended up in world and character notes. There might be a few lines in there I can use, things like that, but not a lot. But getting a short done, self-published, especially if it's a short as different as the kid's story. Well, it's not a kid's story because it's not. I don't know if it's going to be a kid's book or kid's short, but something as different as that would be impressive, and it would just be good for me as a writer, as a person. All right. The other thing I was going to say is I signed up for ballroom dance. My first lesson is on Tuesday, and it's 10 lessons for $100, which is apparently a fairly standard price in this city, but that's ridiculously good to me. And I'm really looking forward to doing that. It's downtown near where I work by about 15 minutes, and it's about 30 minutes after I get off work, which means I'm going to have to hump my ass over there. But it's going to be interesting. Going to be a lot of fun. One way or the other, it's going to be fun. Even though I have to bust my ass after work on Tuesdays to get over there now. And then the other thing I'm going to be doing is maybe even today after I upload this. No, today after I upload this, I'm going to go make food. It's the morning, and it's minus 21°C out, and I'm freezing. I've got a space heater over here, which I don't like using, but it's warming up. My room was so cold that I needed it. My goal for today is I made a video about Japanese mythology. I read off a myth. I liked how I made, but I need to edit the video and put it together and put it up, and I haven't done that yet because I'm lazy and I got really busy. That's my goal for today. Get that. But I'm also going to work on. There's an online tutoring service that I've been trying to get set up with. I'm gonna work on that too. And then I'm gonna figure out how to make a Kijiji posting and try to start being a chess tutor in the area. Good luck with that. But that's how I'm gonna try to make up my money, because if I can make like $50, $60 from a person in one chess tutoring session, that's like 6 hours of work. Period. Like, that's a lot for an hour and a half or whatever of work and travel. So that's my goal. I did buy a transit pass this time. So it cost me $100 up front, which hurt. But on the other hand, it means that I don't have to pay $6 a day or $9 a day every day of the month, which adds up pretty damn quick. Not as quick as paying $9 every day, which is what I started doing when I got here. That added up really quick, but paying $6 a day. So that's going to save me money in the long run, but it doesn't feel like it right now. I got food in my fridges. I'm going to cook fajitas, stir fry, and then I bought beans, okay beans, and I've got tortillas. So that'll be food for a little while. That's my plan for Sunday. And that's that. Thanks. Hopefully you'll see these more often. It will definitely be more than once a month. December was just crazy, and I think that's often the case with December. That's it. And hi to all the family members who I'm suddenly realizing are watching this. I apologize for swearing as much as I do.